Hello and welcome to another edition of Sik'ar Reviews. And today I'm going to be reviewing the, can you see that? Havana Sunrise Reserve from Felix Assouline. I was kind of hoping to get some notes on these beforehand. But, you know, it's time. So I'm just going to go ahead and review it. This is the Brilliance, which is a 6.5 by 54. Named Vitolas, love them. Other sizes are the Beacon, Blaze, Prelude, and Ray. They range between $5 and $8 a stick, depending on size. As of the day of this video, which is August 18th, 2016. This is a Habano Criollo 98 wrapper with an Indonesian binder and a Nicaraguan and Honduran long filler. Now, this is very similar to his, let's see, yeah, it's the same thing basically. What's listed for binder and long filler, etc., is I think it was the Ringo and I can't see where I put that. Oh, there's the other one. The Ringo and the Something Special. Now, I will say something that stands out. Even though it's the same type of wrapper, Criollo 98, this is actually very soft. I've heard reviewers talk about velvety soft wrappers, and I've tried the same cigars, and I never noticed a velvety softness. This is nice. It's just velvety soft. It is oily, but seems pretty good. Seams and stems are not too bad on this. Very nicely wrapped. I'm going to go ahead and cut this up. One thing I would say is that the banding doesn't stand out to me very much. Wow, this is a firm cigar. I actually had a problem pushing the cutter through. Not typical. So, very nice firm cigar. But that band, the Havana Sunrise band, it just, I don't know, it blends too much into the background, and I think there's something that could stand out more about it. I mean, even the Brickhouse Fumas band blends very well into the cigar, but for some reason it's highly attractive on the cigar. This, even though I like the wrapper, which has the tobacco field here and the sunrise coming up over the tobacco field, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't pop, if you know what I mean. A lot of cigar bands just pop out at you. Although this is very pretty, it doesn't pop. But, you know, that doesn't mean that there'll be anything about the smoke here. Seems it's got good draw, as tight of as it was on the cut. I was kind of worried about that. Kind of a musky smell, but very faint off the wrapper. And kind of the same off the foot. It's interesting how between the Ringo and the Something Special, which has the same fillers, same wrapper, same binder, and I believe all the tobaccos pretty much come from the same farm. They have different smells and flavors to them, and even textures to them. That is interesting. It shows that there's a lot to learn about tobacco, and just knowing where the wrapper came from, or whatever, or where the binder came from, or where the filler came from, means little to nothing almost. But it's something that a lot of people seem to really care about. So I report it. I care more for how it smokes anyways, personally. Great ease of smoke. I was kind of concerned about that, as I said. One thing I like about these, the Felix Assouline cigars is the first puff. It's different than any other cigar I've ever had. This one has a very almost walnutish flavor with a little spice that sits on the roof. Usually when you get spice, it's in the back of your throat near the, it's going down, like the bottom part of the back. This spice is on the upper part of the palate before you get all the way to the back. And I'll say that of the cigars I've had, they kind of almost play with your taste receptors, tasting things in spots that you're not used to tasting them, etc. That is something I've noticed about these cigars, and something I truly love. I don't know how he does it. Honestly, I think he may be one of the better blenders out there. I was telling that to him personally. The flavors and how they play in the cigar are far superior to even things like I've had from like my father and stuff. They just don't play in your mouth like that. My father's great, Padron's great, but so often they don't have all the characteristics. This just jumps everywhere at you, and there's lots of flavor. However, it is a medium to full-bodied experience. I haven't had too much in the mild experience, which would be interesting. And this one actually might be a little more subtle than the other two, the Ringo and the Something Special. Which, as I was just saying, most of them are a little medium to full. And, at least in the flavor profiles themselves. And this one's kind of calming down a bit, but that's something that I bet you won't stay, because this seems to... It's like poetry in motion, as I've said once before. I don't know if I said it here. I know I said it to Felix. Particularly about something in the Something Special. Is that you can start out with a bit of strength, and then it'll mild out. And then as it's mild out, bang, it comes back up in strength, and then rests a bit. And so it keeps you guessing, and you wonder what's going on. And it's very deliberate, I can tell you that from the flavoring. Very pleasant retro hail. Kind of brings out a bit more of that walnut shell flavor. It just kind of has, I don't know, it's almost like a mixed bag of nuts. And you put your head in it and you kind of smell. You can smell a little of the dust, and you can smell a little of the walnut. You can smell a little of the almond, and you can smell a little of... It kind of reminds me of like a nut bin. At the grocery store, where you got all the mixed nuts and you have the scoop and you just pop it open and put them into the bag and then seal it, and then you take it to the counter and buy them, and you get a little of everything. Well, I'll see you at the halfway point. Let you know how this progresses. So, see you shortly. Hello, and welcome back to the halfway point of this Havana Sunrise Reserve from Felix Assouline. This has been a very nice cigar. His website does list it as being medium to full body. I'm going to kind of contest that a little bit. This is, to me, more on the mild side. The flavors are very nice. It's kind of I don't want to say it's like a weak coffee flavor, but it's like a weak coffee sensation. The flavors are mixed in, and it kind of tastes a little watery, and it really gets the saliva going. The flavors still kind of are along the line of the, like the walnut and the almond shell, like a bag of nuts. And the spice hasn't returned since that first one. And I was saying how a lot of Felix Assouline cigars kind of have this almost chaos order to it, where it changes flavor and then it settles down, and then it gets strong, and then it settles down, or it goes smooth and mellow and then gets strong. This has been very consistent in flavor. Almost a honey flavor in the background too. I'm really enjoying this cigar. This would be right up the alley, I think, for people who like mild to medium cigars, even though it does say medium to full. Anyways, I'm going to get into the final third here and let you know how this is continuing, so I will see you shortly. Hello and welcome back to the final third of this Felix Assouline Havana Sunrise Reserve. Wonderful flavors right now. There's some type of liquor flavor. I don't want to say it's probably more along the line of a whiskey or scotch. This might be a very good pairing for a whiskey or scotch too. Sorry about the buzzing. It's very windy, and for some reason my blinds want to be just buzz. Very nice smoky cigar. It's kind of picked up in body here in the end. Not a heck of a lot of spice though. As I said, it's kind of got that scotchish flavor. Still kind of this thing that causes salivation and reminds me of a weak coffee, but no coffee flavor. And that goes very well with the kind of scotchish flavor that I'm talking about too. There was a bit of honey, but that seems to have tapered off quite a bit. Overall, this cigar has been absolutely fantastic. Burnt on a razor. For a box press, that's very impressive. One thing I've almost never liked about box presses is they have a tendency to burn a little on the wonky side. And this has been absolutely flawless. So, loving it very much. Even though the wrapper's a little oily, and it probably could have used with a day of dry boxing further than this, there was no need, really. There was a few moments I thought, ooh, it's going to end up having a problem, but then it fixed itself. So, great cigar. I definitely recommend this one. It's on my rebuy list. Much like the Ringo was, much like the Something Special is. And, that's good when you can find a brand, a blender out there. And Felix blends all these himself. I asked him about that. Unlike other companies where they hire blenders, he does the blending himself. He does a great job. And I'm just... this has been thoroughly enjoyable. So I definitely give this a very good rating. Give you a good recommendation because I've enjoyed the heck out of it. And so I assume that you probably will too. It just has a lot of different nuances, a lot of different flavors. It is a little more on the mild side than I thought based on what he wrote on his descriptions. And again, this was the Brilliance Vitola, which is a 6.5 by 54 torpedo. And again, I'm usually not a fan of torpedoes either. I used to love torpedoes, but I notice more and more that torpedoes tend to end up burning a little wonky. So a box press torpedo burning perfectly, hey, that's stellar. So Anyways, with all that said, please add and subscribe, leave questions, comments, feedback, suggestions. If you smoke this and you agree or disagree with my review, go ahead and leave your opinions in the comments below. Just keep it nice is all I ask, and enjoy every puff.